It's already our third Flow State Saturday session. We go live every week at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And once again, it's me, Brian Muka, and Dr. Jake Felice. So I am.
Hey, yes.
Yeah, I wanted to introduce the three of us because we all do similar things, but different things. So I'm a certified health coach. I help people overcome burnout. I help people lose weight. And I'm now helping people get into a state of flow by connecting more with their own inner wisdom and their real spiritual self. So not just this physical body and the mind, but like the heart space and the soul, connecting with themselves on the soul level. Brian Muka is a leadership advisor. He's a Jedi. He's a rock star. He's really good at everything that he does. He's very skilled in teaching people how to connect to the quantum field. So that field of like endless possibility, or as some may call the fertile void, where all creation happens. So that's Brian. He actually used to be an ex-bomb technician, deactivating bombs. I think I once introduced you as a bomb technician that used to detonate bombs. Wrong.
Sometimes you blow them up.
Oh yeah, I guess sometimes. Yeah,
and so you blow them up right where they are. Sometimes, anything more than that gets dangerous. So yeah, I have what you said is true, in addition to other things.
Gotcha. And then, so you used to work for the Navy, and you would even dive underwater to do this work, right? Sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. And then Dr. Jake Felice with an Italian last name. He's a naturopathic doctor. He specializes in stem cell therapy. He also does, connected to that is longevity medicine, and he's very knowledgeable in the flow state field. The three of us all also are really into flow arts in terms of like sports and other activities. So I love to express and get into flow state through dancing. So it's like these like LED wings that I use and silk fans that are very flowy. Brian likes to get into flow state by zipping around on the ocean waves on a hydrofoil. So it's kind of like kite surfing with a hydrofoil board. We're all into like the Caribbean and the ocean vibe. So love that you do that, Brian. And then Dr. Jake is into surfing. So he calls it little wave surfing. I don't know what little means to him, but I'm sure he surfs bigger waves than I have surfed, right?
Well, no, I like a 4-foot wave. Unless you're Hawaiian style, that would be a 2-foot wave.
Gotcha.
Little waves.
Nice. So he's into surfing. All right. And so I did want to do a very, very quick little grounding exercise for us to get into flow state energetically and physically. And we actually just did this exercise, and Brian led it, so I'm going to copy it now. We just did this before getting on live with you guys. So let's just take a deep breath in and sigh it out.
It's important to make the sound. There's a lot of relaxation in that.
Yeah, the sound frequency is healing. Also, you can keep your eyes open or closed for this, whatever you want, but just open up your heart and look up to the sky. So we're opening up our heart space, connecting to the quantum field. And another deep breath in and sigh it out. Nice. That was easy, and that's all there is to it. So Brian, take it away and tell the audience what we're going to be talking about. And by the way, audience, make sure to interact with us. If you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, make sure to comment, tell us what you want us to talk about. But yeah, take it away, Brian.
All right, cool. So it's amazing what 3 breaths can do. So that's not to be underestimated. Client session today, I have just a 3-minute reset, eyes closed. Anything where you're like, can tune the world out for 3 minutes. It has a massive reset ability. So like if you're ever like fried, one of the reasons why we do this is to just share with you a couple different ways that like where you are in the world right now, you can reset yourself to have that access to flow. Right. So this is like a play at home type thing. What we're going to talk about today is the dopamine cycle. So I think, and Dr. Jake, you introduced this particular idea of like, what are the 21st century skills? And so like this device,
21st century skills. How do we take care of this emotionality when there is so much input from the outside, whether that be from social media, news, just being out in public? Things are a little tense these days.
For sure. This little device in my pocket, it's designed to steal dopamine. That's what it does. And when
it is designed to make you go like this.
Yeah, to buy.
Dopamine hit and hit and
trained.
hit.
We're being trained. And what kind of a nervous system is most susceptible to influence and outside impulses impacting our decision making? A stressed and tired organism is very easy to manipulate.
Exactly right. Right. So this is why understanding your dopamine cycle is a critical skill set for this 21st century. What takes my dopamine? How do I build it naturally? The difference between like cocaine, cell phone style dopamine, and the dopamine that I earn, like on the face of a wave, or with my flow rope, or getting into the 28-degree hiking that I did this morning. Doing
or just getting shit done, checking things off of your to-do list. Those are really great dopamine hits.
Yeah, cool. So stick with us today. We're going to talk about dopamine. And for me, when I learned this on Diary of a CEO, there's a great book. It's called Dopamine Nation that really highlighted why someone can get addicted to romance novels in a way that exceeded that of cocaine. So it's not so much about the substance. It's about my own dopamine reaction to the things in my world. And what you're going to learn today, remember, is how do you use dopamine to your greatest good instead of having the rest of the world steal it. So critical skill. I didn't know this. This is another dimension. So when I understood dopamine, I got more agency and sovereignty back. So that's what we're up to today. Glad you're here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we are here with a long 1 hour live call, not a short 15-second reel that steals your dopamine. If you stick it out through with us and you slow down, you'll realize that, oh, hey, I can actually sit through a 1 hour chat versus needing the next reel and the next reel. Like your body gets used to it. That's the cool thing. And I forget the name of the TED Talk, but it was pretty popular. I think it was called Social Anxiety or something like that, where the guy was talking about how much these technology is affecting kids and for their developing brains, how really bad it is. And so he was saying that these really short reels are way worse for children than watching an entire cartoon, where everything's not happening so fast. And my sister actually, she just decided that she's going to take away the iPad from her two kids, the younger ones. And honestly, within
how
2
old
days,
are they?
They were 4 and 7 at the time. She did that last year. Yeah. So for the first 2 days, they asked for it and they were kind of whiny. And day 3, they were so happy, forgot about the iPad completely. They were looking forward to their once a week Saturday TV show, like a cartoon that they got to watch or a movie that they actually would sit through calmly.
Yeah.
And it changed within 3 days, it changed their behavior. My sister said they were happy. They weren't complaining. They had less tantrums. It doesn't take much or a long time to recalibrate the brain. But it's just about making those wise choices. And it can be very hard when all of society is doing something and is encouraging something and it's in your face all the time. So, yeah.
Yes. A super skill, a superpower in this digital age is focus. How can I focus for 45 minutes on something? Right. So the 45 minutes get into timelessness, selflessness, effortlessness, and meaning. And I'm not getting that with the 15-second Instagram reels. Also, the ability to read, long form reading. This is one of the things that Will Smith actually attributes his success to, is every day he runs and he reads. And so I studied with Jim Quick. His reading comprehension course was actually about learning how to command the mind and the focus and the power of reading, highlighting my own imagination. So back in the day, we had radio shows, and that was advantageous because it was building the imagination muscle. And I'm going to tie it in right now. Einstein said that imagination is better than knowledge. because I can, in my imagination, I can create new things, right? So flow, creation, your own creation, not somebody else's. Just remember, anything you consume on YouTube, Instagram, it might be inspirational. Like yesterday, I was looking up the endurance, the Ernest Shackleton story. And I like this like indomitable human spirit thing. My friend Anthony, he dared me to watch Miracle, the 1980s documentary on Netflix right now. And I loved it. It had my full undivided attention for the way that these guys not only trained, but also like I wept. I wept when I heard them shouting for the first time ever, USA. It never happened before. That was where it's from. And I just find it interesting.
Is that the Miracle on Ice?
It sure is. Yeah. And so like
I remember that as a kid, boy. Wow, that was exciting.
So what a great story. So it's a 90-minute documentary, it's long form, you know? And the feeling of that. And then like what's our miracle of, 2026?
Breaking out of the matrix. That's our miracle.
That's right. The ejection orbit, which happens to be Mach 33, as I remembered yesterday. And I watched the Apollo 13 documentary yesterday on Netflix. It was snowing here. And it was just amazing to immerse myself in these stories. And remember, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a steely-eyed missile man. I would spend hours in the adult section of the library when I was like 8, learning like orbital trajectories and steely-eyed missile man stuff. And so I just want to make mention of that, the stuff that I was obsessed with as a kid. Like, I fancied myself a space explorer. And that's kind of been inner space. Now, you mentioned the quantum and the Jedi and those things. It's like, man, the things that I was obsessed with as a kid, I get to do now as an adult, like for my living, And so, getting lost.
Imagine a world where everyone's jobs was just them creating and then offering their gifts to the world and getting paid for it. That's what I want to see.
Yes. And so this idea of how much am I consuming? How much am I consuming and how much am I creating? I think that's an interesting ratio to look at. Because when I hit send on my YouTube video, that feeling of satisfaction is dopamine that I've earned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so let's
wow.
Did you have something?
Oh, did you want to do that and then I'll come in after we're done? Have an activity planned here, Brian? Is that what you were thinking?
Why don't we do the activity? I'm going to get into some academia stuff.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
All right, cool. So line in the sand, and for the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to use cocaine as an example of dopamine that I didn't earn, okay? And substitute that for any easy to receive dopamine, okay? Now, on the other side, I'm going to use the word ice bath, because if I get in the ice bath, both the ice bath and the cocaine hit make the same dopamine, but they have different outcomes. You guys with me still? And it's important to also understand like dopamine hits. So for example, like a cup of coffee out of 1,000, coffee's at 50. So if I drink coffee, and Dr. Jake, you save coffee for Saturdays, is that right?
I do, because I am a coffee addict, and if I use it at work, I'm so darn tired. So I just do it on the weekends.
So that's a great example of the cocaine version of dopamine.
And it's glorious. It's glorious.
Glorious, right?
Yeah.
So as you'll see in the cocaine version of dopamine, if I don't earn it, the body seeks to get that dopamine back to below baseline as fast as possible, right? The food industry has weaponized this. The crunch of the Dorito mimics cracking through bones to get to the bone marrow. And so I can eat an entire bag of pick your favorite poison because there's no nutrients in it. That's another cheap way to get dopamine is through food, right? So food, caffeine and coffee like 50. Nicotine is like 150. And cocaine would be like 200 on the dopamine cycle. My ice bath is also at 200. But that dopamine hits differently because I earned it, right? Like I have to face my fear. I've done probably 1,200 plus, not probably, I've done over 1,200 ice baths. Every time my little bitch voice goes, I don't really want to get in the ice. And that and doing it like, wow, I'm satisfied with myself. And then I get in. And then for 8 to 12 seconds, I panic. And then I find my breath. And the smile, like the real smile from the heart, that's the optimal length for an ice bath. Anything else, it's ego, right? I want to find joy. And I'm also, so joy and is predicated on the dopamine in that. So I don't actually get the highest level of dopamine when I get out of the ice bath. That dopamine continues to rise for the next 2.5 hours. So if I get out on the surfboard and it's cold and I get out, I get 2.5 hours of the right chemical state to maximize flow. And the body keeps compounding that because I just did something that was good for my survival, good for my joy. As opposed to the caffeine, as you know, or the nicotine or the cocaine, immediately after, like minutes after, dopamine is going to crash and I'm going to want to take a nap. And so what most animals do in that is get the hit again and get the hit again. And one of the reasons that Dr. Jake only has caffeine on Saturdays is because he has to have a lot of caffeine if he's having it every day to have the same level of.
I can't be sleepy. I can't be sleepy seeing. Yeah, can't be sleepy seeing patients and having 6, 7, 8 cups of coffee a day. That doesn't work.
Yep.
Except that, you know what? If you drink bulletproof coffee, which is what I'm having right now with a lot of added spices, that actually releases caffeine very steadily and slowly into your bloodstream. And then you don't get that spike and that crash, spike and crash. So bulletproof coffee is a way around it. If you love coffee, it's actually so good for you. I put a lot of healthy fats in it and there's a lot of added benefits. What's that?
What is it? What is bulletproof coffee?
Oh, sure. Aren't these the questions?
Aren't these the questions? So bulletproof coffee is coffee with added fat. So the fat could be MCT oil and grass-fed butter, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I love using a little bit of grass-fed butter and cacao butter. So, you know, the cocoa pod, that chocolate made of. When they take the fat out of that, that's what cacao butter is. It's so delicious. You can also you can put ghee in it. So any kind of healthy fat. I'm not going to be like, you're not going to be putting lard in it, but healthy fat. And then
Does it feel slippery?
Does it feel slippery? No, you blend it.
The texture.
It's frothy. Look at this. Is it?
It feels rich.
It's very rich.
It's a butter latte, and if you just put butter in your coffee, it's disgusting. The blender is a key move in bulletproof coffee, and the fat acts like a control rod to release the caffeine a lot slower. I don't ever get the jitters when I use the fat, and I put salt in it too. That also helps me first thing in the morning.
It's great. And also I add a blend of different spices and like other super herbs to elevate me. So basically they're full of nutrients. So I'll add cinnamon, mesquite powder, cacao powder, purple corn powder. Purple corn is actually very grounding. So it'll reduce the stimulation of the cacao and the caffeine in the bulletproof coffee. And then I'll add cayenne pepper. I love this spice. So it's like I'm getting a bunch of nutrients in my coffee. It's really amazing. And then on top of it, I just make sure I use good quality coffee most of the time. Sometimes I don't, but I try to go with like organic, mold-free, fair trade coffee. Yeah.
I love it. So part of my morning routine is actually hand grinding my coffee beans. And when the coffee is done, I get my first little dopamine hit that I've earned. Like I just did something. You know, I ground coffee.
You delayed a little gratification instead of hitting that machine. You got to do the slow grind and that anticipation.
That's right. And I start to smell it, right? So the senses wake up in that, and then water boils. The grinds go into my AeroPress, so I hand press that. So there's a very physical. I'm a ritual guy, sharpening knives, oiling guns. For my military days, my version of that now is making bulletproof coffee in the blender. And that's the first major tasker every morning is the bulletproof. Followed by the UVA, UVB, red light, IR exposure while I drink that in the wintertime. In the summertime, my feet are in the grass looking at the sun for the first 10 minutes.
You know what that makes me think of when you talk about working for your coffee? It's the same as working for my food if I'm hiking or if I'm on like the West Coast Trail on a 7-day hiking trip and you bring all your food with you and you can only eat a certain amount and you have to walk a long time before you actually eat the food versus if it's like just accessible, you know, like fast food. Whereas you actually,
you know what
Was
That's a
that
great metaphor that the food.
You know what that reminds me of?
what?
Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, well, what that reminds me of is just how our nervous system is designed. Our nervous system was designed for an age before there was electricity, where we had to actually, the vast majority of human nervous systems existed in Paleolithic Stone Age times, where we actually had to hunt for our food or forage for our food. So this dopamine urge is actually good for us because it provides motivation. Oops, sorry guys. It provides motivation, and motivation gets us excited to do those things. There's a rat study where they put electrodes into the brain of the rats, and whenever the rats hit the button, they would get a dopamine jolt. The rats would push the buttons 10,000 plus times a day. They wouldn't eat, and they starved to death. So this drive, if it is utilized improperly, can cause us harm, but it is part of this system where, if it is used appropriately, can lead us to be motivated. It can lead us to discovery. It can lead us to focus. We can go beyond our fatigue thresholds. It can give us a sense of optimism. And you mentioned breaking through the matrix, Magdalena. We are being programmed not only by our culture and our cell phones, but we're also being programmed by our microorganisms that live in our gut. For example, good healthy probiotics will manufacture serotonin, which is another feel-good neurotransmitter besides dopamine, that is part of the end of the flow state cycle. When we leave flow, the serotonin kicks in after the dopamine and gives us that really good, relaxed feeling that lasts for the day. So dopamine is part of a cocktail of neurotransmitters that we have our own pharmacy in our own brain, in our own body. Serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, otherwise known as adrenaline, anandamide, and endorphins. And a cocktail is a blend greater than the sum of the whole. So I use the term caffeine is a great example. Caffeine combined with a pain reliever, and Excedrin combines the effect and magnifies the pain relieving effect. So you can magnify the pain relieving effect of aspirin or ibuprofen or Tylenol with caffeine. We can magnify the flow state by adding to our dopamine. And this brings me to one thing, and then I'll turn it back over to you guys. Long form content. I'm an ultra long form content guy, ultra long form. So I like to consume books, even if they're on tape, because books represent thousands of hours of a brain focused into one particular area versus a 12-second video, which is still giving us the dopamine hit, but is absence of the meaning involved. So one of the ways we can break the matrix is through longer form content. And dopamine helps us with that focus.
Amazing. I love your explanations. You know, it's so on point. I feel like every time Brian comes up with a topic for a Flow State Saturday, I'm like, I was just looking into this week. So this week, sorry, particularly, I was noticing just how much technology ramps up my nervous system in such a bad way. Like I just feel so wired. And I think also because I was doing a lot of video editing, and the program I was using, it was just like really slow and laggy. And I was like, all right, like hurry up. Like I don't have time for this. And then my phone was lagging, and I was just like in this state of, like so tense and riled up. And when you talk about adrenaline, it's like it was my cortisol and adrenaline were just spiked through the roof. But that's a common thing for me that I have to deal with on a regular basis, to catch myself and calm down and put my phone away, or just like walk away from video editing just to like ground myself. And I often do that in nature. And honestly, you guys, like, I think we underestimate how much our phones are harming us, as Brian whipped it out in the beginning, showing us like, this is the device that's like ruining our brains. And I actually met a few people the last while that actually got off social media completely. I think I like being on social media, but I want to use it, you know, in a wise way, not overuse it and not abuse it, so it doesn't take over me. But the people that said that they went off social media, they said that their nervous systems calmed down so much and they feel so much more at peace. And these are business owners that need to promote themselves and such, and they're doing it in other ways. And I wanted to say one more thing is that I went on a camping trip with my family last year. We went to Washington, so I had to, and there was no cell reception. So I actually just put my phone away for like a whole, I think it was 10 days. I felt amazing. I didn't miss my phone at all. And my nervous system was calm. I was just like feeling so connected to myself and to nature. I just felt like my brain was functioning properly. And I was just actually, I started, when I went back to my phone, I was actually kind of dreading it because I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. And you guys, within an hour, I was on my phone checking messages. I was stressed within an hour of being back on my phone. So I think we need to really learn how to use technology wisely so it doesn't take over our nervous systems. And I know there are ways. We don't have to like say no to it because it's very helpful, of course. But the more we can learn about these things we're talking about today, the more we can take care of our poor little stressed out nervous systems.
Yeah, so that's why we're talking about dopamine today, and you're touching into the amygdala, the stress, the cortisol, and those types of things. And it's just powerful to be aware of like, how charged do I feel, right? So I'm into technology in a big way, you know, both the bio quantum mechanics of the body, but also technology. And I gotta be really careful what kind of light I look at before I go to sleep. So like this light is not doing me any favors right now. This is almost xenon. So it's a powerful blue light. When I'm finished with this, I will go outside and actually get full spectrum sunlight on my eyeballs. Because if I get too much blue light, it creates a blue light hangover. So think of like dopamine and the lack of it, like hangover conditions. You feel like shit? Look at the light you've been looking at, right? I feel great when I look at the sun. I feel great when I look at the fireplace late at night. And so once again, the circadian rhythms are run by the eyes. And if this is the thing I'm staring at, this becomes my fake sun. Of course, the body's not going to know what to do with this because this has only been around for like 15 years. Where the sun's been around for billions of years, and like everything on Earth, except for the Marianas Trench, like, you know, trench animals and plants, it's the sun. So just remember how good the sun is. And then if you ever like worried, you've been looking at too much blue light, or you're like, look at the sun, like sunrise, sunset, go outside. If you start to sneeze, those are indications of too much blue light. And affects the way.
Really? I sneeze in the sun all the time.
Yep, too much blue light. So what I should do is when we shoot this, I have a really, really beautiful pair of like red lenses. They're gorgeous. And they keep my nervous system calm when I'm doing a lot of the computing stuff.
Yeah.
So starting to know like what gives me dopamine, like setting up Riverside does. It's hard, right? And then we get to go on, we get to play with you guys. So technology also can be a provider of dopamine if I use it the right way.
When you have to work.
Right.
When you have to work to make it work.
Exactly. So what I'm inviting all of us to do is just round term. You probably know this already about dopamine, right? It's pretty prevalent out in the world. But the part that isn't prevalent is like, what is my discipline around the dopamine cycle? So Jake and Magdalena, if you would share some of the things, what are some of the things that you do on a daily basis to actually earn dopamine? So for me, it's outside, feet in the snow with a flow rope. Most mornings, I watch the sunrise with bare feet on the snow. So that's one of the things that I do to like earn dopamine, and that serves me for the next 2 hours. How about you guys?
Yeah, Dr. Jake, go ahead. And
well, the first thing I do is I'm in the grind, and I think a lot of what the message of this group is that you don't have to be in the grind, but I'm in the grind, and the first thing I do is my alarm goes off at 4:45 a.m. But usually before my alarm goes off, I have a red light right next to my bed that I will click on and almost pre-snooze so that I'm getting the red light through my eyelids, and the eyelids, if you close your eyes, the blood makes it red as well. But if I open my eyes, there's a warm red glow. That is one of my rituals. Another ritual that I have is I have a short form yoga series that I do every morning. It is a necessity for me. It works wonderfully for stress relief, but honestly, I do it because I have compressed vertebrae in my lumbar spine and I sit at a desk 50 hours a week sometimes. And if I don't do my yoga, if I don't do my flexibility, my back pain gets bad. And if I do it, it does nothing at all. So that's my first ritual. I have a bunch of them. And on weekends, for sure, making coffee. And then when I am out with the gang surfing, Washington surf culture, we camp and surf a lot of the time because it's so far to the ocean. I make coffee for everyone else, or I join my friends for coffee. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Amazing.
Aw, nice. Can't wait for you to make us coffee on the beach. Yeah, I have a few different ones too, and I kind of mix and match. I'm not somebody who's super like structured. I like to just kind of go with what I'm feeling in the moment. So I don't practice this every day. I want to, though, is to not check my phone first thing in the morning. The days I don't do it, I feel way better and way calmer. Like for like an hour in the morning, that is ideal, but even half an hour feels good. I also make my bulletproof coffee, and then I go in, if it's nice enough, I'll go, actually, it doesn't matter if it's just sunny. I'll go and stand outside and look at the sun. By the way, sunlight in your eyes in the morning for like 10 to 20 minutes is really great for regulating dopamine. And at sunset, as it's setting, that kind of light in the eyes is great, again, for the circadian rhythm and for dopamine regulation. So yeah, just like, and if it's summer, so I don't do the snow thing, but I might start standing barefoot on snow because I crave being barefoot outside. In the summer, I barely wear my shoes. Like I'll go for walks without my shoes. I just kind of leave them at home. I'll go in my car without my shoes. And if I'm not going into like concrete, and if it's there's ground or water, I'll just be barefoot. Anyway, so then I'll stand outside drinking my coffee, looking at the sun. I also really like some form of cold water. So it could be a cold shower. It could be, just for time's sake, I wouldn't do a whole cold bath, but I would just put my legs in cold water, like really cold water, and stand in it for a while. Or I love this one, which is a bowl of water with ice in it, and then dunk my face in there for like 30 to 60 seconds. And that feels really, really energizing. Like that's actually better than coffee. It wakes my whole system up. So those are some of them. There's other ones, but those are kind of the ones that came to mind.
That's powerful. The mammalian dive reflex gets activated in what you're talking about with the cold water on the face.
The which, sorry?
The mammalian dive reflex actually gets activated in that.
Talk more about that.
Oh, what's that?
Okay, yeah, got it. So we're actually wired to free dive. And that's a sport that I enjoy. And so if I do dry land breath holding, oxygen tables or hypercapnia training where I'm actually purposely increasing carbon dioxide, I can get probably 30% more performance underwater than I can on dry land. So just having water on my eyelids and my face slows the body down. The heart rate slows down, but also it starts pulling blood from the extremities into the core. And so like the body knows how to be underwater for a long period of time. And it's really, really nurturing actually to be in that state, to learn how to relax in that. It's womb-like, maybe the safest place that we know. And it mimics that in some ways. I want to shift gears a little bit. Those are great. Thank you for sharing those. I think what may also be useful, I'm big on emergency procedures. So when shift hits the fan, okay, cool, I'm out of dopamine, right? So what do I do in that moment? And you might know that when you're like not motivated by anything. So Jake, I'm not sure if this was part of that study, but there was a rat study where they depleted their dopamine and they wouldn't even move like 3 centimeters to the food that was right there. So I actually need dopamine in order to take the action to keep myself alive. So I'm just going to use this. This is not evil, but it can steal dopamine, my phone or computer or TV or, whatever. If this thing is stealing more dopamine than I'm really willing to allow, these mice died because they didn't have any dopamine to feed themselves, right? So it's a big deal. So in this moment, I just realized that I'm out of dopamine. I'm doom scrolling. There's like There's no enjoyment. I don't even know why I'm doing it. How do you guys, I'm going to share what I do. And then if you guys could share some tactics that you have to first notice and then reset. So when I notice that I'm like, I'm not enjoying this anymore, it goes away.
Throw it
And then
on my bed.
I close my eyes, I cup my eyes, and then I'm motionless for the next 180 seconds, 3 minutes, a 3-minute reset. My ocular nerve, which uses the majority of my RAM in my brain, is going to processing what I'm seeing, right? So that's first. And then I just want to breathe and not move, because that me not moving after a thing sends a signal to my body, time to start recharging, because when I'm motionless, that means I finished whatever it was that I was doing. Ideally, I want to stop whatever I'm doing when there's like 10% battery left. It's so much easier to recharge if I have a little in the tank than if I go all the way to 0 or below 0. So those are 2 things that I use. How about you guys?
Yeah, sure. So when I catch myself doing that, again, it's back to nature. I'll literally just go step outside. If I can, I'll go barefoot. And then I'll just take some deep breaths. I'll look at the sun, or I'll look at the sky, or at green, like the trees. There's something called green therapy, because the frequency of the green color actually activates your heart chakra, which is why it's green when you look at those diagrams. So it like connects you back into your heart, away from like the programmed mind. And then sometimes, like after that, I like to do some, Dr. Jake fell off, but that's okay. Hopefully he'll come back. I like to do like some yoga movements, or like just like a little bit of like hip movement, something just to kind of move my body, because I connect when I'm on my phone. It's like I'm stiff and I'm in this, like, what did you call that position?
Like
prison position, right? So just kind of open up my heart and move my body and just like get circulation back. That helps a lot.
Perfect. If you guys are watching and you have areas where you're stuck with dopamine, or like, as you watch this later on, if you don't catch this live, just message in the chat the types of things that you find yourself like dopamine crashing on, and maybe what you do to get yourself back up. That'll be really useful for the community in these things. We lost Dr. Jake, so he's out flowing somewhere without internet. We did a fun thing. I don't know if you guys caught it. Was it Thursday? Wednesday. Yeah, we just did a little of the Jambe and the light wings, and we got to play. And I listened to that yesterday, and it was good. Yeah, it was show worthy. So grateful for that. Dr. Jake, you've returned. How was your surf trip? You're muted.
I got out of the water, and the first thing I grabbed was a cup of coffee.
Yeah, nice.
No, it was really good trip. I'm sorry I did not get to hear what Magdalena said, but you guys were talking about resets.
Yeah, what do you do for your reset when you catch yourself in this state of?
One of my movement is so helpful for the mammalian nervous system. Dogs who don't get walked can get neurotic, and when they're nervous, they shake it off.
Yeah.
The human body is weak and slow, but we are very well designed for walking. We can walk more efficiently than any other creature because we walk on 2 legs, and we can't run down our prey, but we can walk down our prey because the antelope or the buffalo or whatever it is that
we're able to regulate our temperature in a way that these other animals cannot. So the book Born to Run, the Copper Canyon Mexican tribes, they would persistence hunt. The human is the only animal that in very hot conditions, it can continue to run for like 100 miles. No other animal can do it. So our ability to regulate temperature is actually a superpower that we have. So training both in the ice bath, specifically for the masculine, for the men, we do a little bit better and get a little more juice out of the ice bath, where the feminine does better in the heat shock proteins actually from the IR or a regular sauna is really advantageous. And I like both of those because it requires me to like not stare at a screen, or like Magdalene, you spend a lot of time in the sauna, right? And so eyes closed, just feeling the heat being present in the body. Like I notice my heart beating. I notice what parts of my body get tight when I'm in the ice bath. It's really centering to be focused on the way my body feels. And that, by the way, is 1,000% louder to the whole nervous system than what I think. So 10 times more what the body feels. So feet in nature, feet on the snow, feet in the grass, feet in the sand. Thumping the thymus is also really powerful for the vagus nerve. This whole reset conversation. And the thoughts are only 1/10 of the whole equation. So the body awareness, the movement, those types of things that both of you are talking about is really, really powerful for dopamine and calm and joy.
I love the thymus tap. And you know what's interesting? So the thymus tap, which is right here, when you're tapping here, it actually stimulates the thymus gland. And what that does is it helps to release fear. So if you're feeling scared, you can tap here. It also helps to boost like life force energy. So if you're feeling like really depleted and you want to raise your energy up, it helps with that. And it helps you to just feel more confident, just like real confidence. Adding to that, the sound of ha, which is kind of cool because it makes you sound like you're laughing after. So as you tap, you go ha. According to Chinese medicine, that's the sound for the thymus. The sound of it helps to activate it as well. So it goes like ha, 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 ha. Try it with us for like a few seconds. Ha, 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 ha. Perfect. And I wanted to say one other thing, that when I think of this, I think of gorillas showing dominance and confidence and being like, I am in charge. So I actually do think of the gorilla beating its chest. And maybe that's why they do it, to show like, yo, I'm the confident one here. I have no fear. Who knows?
What's the slang that says? Say it from the chest. Speak it from the chest.
Yeah. That's powerful. Jake,
have you heard that phrase before?
Yeah. The chest or the womb, like the dantian down here.
Yeah, the power center, the belly button.
Yeah, when the lower below your throat that your voice and your expression comes from, the more powerful it is, because you're really in your body, you're embodied. Versus if you're from the neck up, like just in your throat, you're not in your whole body. You're just like kind of cut off. So speaking from the throat, it's like that mousy, like squeaky, scared little kind of voice. Yeah, chipmunk voice. Whereas if you're like bellowing from your belly or like speaking from your heart, like, you know, that like speak from the heart, it's a different kind of vibration in the tone. I learned so much on these calls. It's so fun.
Yeah. So there's you bring up a really good point, right? So if my dopamine is depleted, that vibrancy isn't quite there. And so any of you guys in sales or in influence, it's important to have like a charged battery in that. And so like the more is good until it isn't. And then like, how could I actually like turn the systems off? 3 minutes is good. 10 minutes is great. Sometimes all I have is a single breath. But so how do I start applying some of these things? Eyes closed, breath, movement, nap time, nature, right? And knowing if I like make my bed, like, oh, that's a dopamine hit. Oh, I hand ground my coffee. Oh, cool. Dopamine hit. I earned it. Oh, I had the crucial conversation that I needed to have. Oh, cool. Dopamine hit, right? That I earned and that I get to feel satisfied with. And then also we talked about when you find yourself on the dopamine cycle, one of the other things that I do is I might do a max set of push-ups, like something really hard, like, and fail it, like go right to the edge and then do one more, you know? Burpees are good. Pull-ups are great. Like I have a setup here in my office. I don't know if you can see my rings. They're right here on the ceiling.
Barely.
So I get on my my Olympic rings and play on that. And it's just, you know, it's a minute on the rings, and that's enough to reset. So I enjoy that.
I wanted to add something extremely important, actually. So one of the key ways for you to have regulated dopamine levels in your brain is by getting enough sleep. And so many people struggle with sleep, and so many people struggle with falling asleep. And I'm telling you, I notice such a huge difference when I actually apply this, and I don't always, and that's my struggle, but I'm getting there and I'm getting better at it. No screens. Like if you can do 2 to 3 hours before bed, not looking at a screen, that's amazing. I know that might not be possible for some people. So even if you could not look at your phone for like 30 minutes to an hour, at least start with that before bed. And when you, let's say you do have to do some work in the evening, wear your like just get a pair of blue light blocking glasses, or put a blue light blocking filter on the screen if it's your phone or your laptop. Then it'll help to like block some of the blue light that really messes our circadian rhythms.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really important is just having like a dim light atmosphere before, like a couple hours before bed. So I will just shut off all the lights in the house and I'll turn on my salt lamps. I know Brian has like a red light lamp. So something like red, we were talking about it a lot. I think red because it mimics the sun, right? As it's setting, it turns red, and that's good for our eyes.
It mimics the sunset is that color, right? That's the red light. And then also the campfire idea. So I'll keep my red lamp on the floor. So I'm looking down. As I look down at my red light IR, I'm not using it for the IR therapy of it. I'm using it to mimic a campfire, and the campfire mimics, or it turns on, the light activates stem cells. So it's starting the restoration period pre-sleep.
That's so cool. Right. Okay. So keeping the red lights on, it makes an enormous difference. And then also what I like doing is I put an eye mask on, and I actually have it's like a cotton one, so I can put castor oil on my eyes, because there's a lot of benefits to castor oil as well. So again, just
the eyelids.
Eyelids. I just close my eyes.
The best thing you can do for your vision, actually, is the castor oil, because what it does is it moisturizes the eye itself. So the drier the eye, the worse it sees, and the more stress the eyeball, the worse it sees as well. So if you've ever heard the expression, I'm going blind looking at these spreadsheets, it's literally true. So if things start to look blurry, maybe I've been looking at the computer screen too long.
And a trick for that too is just to look away into the distance. And so doing that on a regular basis as you're on the laptop, every 20 minutes, if you can like look away or look outside at like the trees that I see here and the grass, that's really helpful to just, so you're not staring the whole time, because we're not designed to do that. But so just to finish on the sleep thing, we can do a whole session on sleep and how to get into flow state through sleep by having restorative sleep. But one more thing I'll say is like either having blackout blinds or just like darkness in the room. It doesn't have to be like the darker the better, but I have just like pretty dark curtains that not much light gets in. And then also room temperature, like it shouldn't be too hot. The cooler, the better for your body to like kind of shut down and sleep. So like 18, 19 degrees Celsius is a good temperature for sleep.
68
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So one of the things, as you're talking about sleep, I'm talking about dopamine. I heard this in Joe Rogan, actually, the first time. We're just not get 2 hours of sunlight on our eyeballs every day. So if I get that amount of sunlight, especially in the morning, like the morning starts the whole cascade, right? This is the circadian rhythm clock. The eyes are the fastest clock. And so I want to see that blue light actually in the morning. So a little bit of cortisol in the morning, get the whole system started. That starts the whole circadian rhythm of shutting off melatonin and replacing melatonin with serotonin.
And, so are you looking at blue light?
Yeah.
It's good to look at blue light in the morning?
First in the morning. Yeah, that's what sunrise is. It's blue.
Well, that's blue light.
Blue light is go light. It creates growth. Blue light's actually really good, like for like skin burns, but it also proliferates cancer, right? So,
but blue light that comes from natural sources, right? Not blue light from like screens. What doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter in the morning. Okay. So think about like blue light as being like caffeine. So it has a half-life. So if I have caffeine, I won't have it past noon, because it takes so long for it to come out of my system. Blue light's kind of the same way.
Okay.
Right. So
I'm not.
Let me just finish the idea.
Right? Hey guys, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
So so the more light I have in the morning, and like when I'm outside, and the melatonin to serotonin switch happens, it also happens the opposite at night. So if I'm looking at the red light, not blue light, I'm at the campfire, I'm relaxing, the serotonin is going to shut off so much so that I'm like, I have to sleep. And if you don't
Gotcha.
have the feeling of I have to sleep, I didn't get enough sunlight and I didn't exercise hard enough during the day. Because
Okay,
those
that
two
makes
things both
sense.
drive sleepiness later at night. That's what I found in my experience.
Amazing. I didn't know that about the blue light coming from the morning sun. That's so interesting. Okay.
You want to have it in the morning. Blue light's really good in the morning.
Dr. Jake, what were you going to say?
Oh, and I'm sorry, there's a lot of cloud cover here in Washington, so I keep getting cut out.
It's okay.
But sleep as one of those 21st century skills.
It is.
Sleep is a 21st century skill. And to Brian's point, one natural therapy that a lot of people, it works for a lot of people, is melatonin. And I'm not recommending melatonin, but one of the problems with melatonin, a lot of my patients will say, yeah, but in the morning I have trouble waking up when I take melatonin. I don't have trouble sleeping. I have trouble waking up. And when you take melatonin in the morning, one of the ways to defeat that sensation of not being able to wake up is exposure to bright light. It affects the pineal gland and reinitiates that wakeful cycle. So there's definitely some science behind bright light in the morning. I do start with red light in the morning so I don't shock my system, but then I have a whole lighting setup in my bedroom to kind of slowly come on. And by the time I'm leaving for work, the light is blasting.
Nice. You have a whole system going
And you
on.
live up north too, Magdalena. So yeah, so you live up north, Magdalena. So you know what it's like when it's dark in the wintertime and you're getting ready for work and you're coming home and it's dark. And so that indoor lighting, there are ways to kind of hack your nervous system. And this is about hacking our nervous system because other things are trying to hack us. Screens are trying to hack us and organisms are trying to hack us. Coffee is hacking us. What does coffee do? Coffee puts out a little bit of caffeine in the flowers to attract pollinating insects. So the coffee tree has designed a molecule to motivate an insect, and as a result of that motivating an insect, it works for us to wake ourselves up. So part of this is about controlling our system, and we do it with external environment, creating an environment that is appropriate from the outside, and then working on our internal environment. And so we've been doing a bit of both of that today.
Yeah. I want to make mention of two things, Jake, that you brought up for me that I thought was useful. First, seasonal affective disorder is a thing for me. So for a long time, I had a blue panel that I would sit in front of first thing in the morning. And like that was probably 2x what caffeine did for me. And immediately, caffeine takes me 25 minutes or so. Cold showers first thing too. That's a great way to increase testosterone, to wake up the body, to get the body starting to make heat. The Bulgarians, these are the strength masters of the world in terms of muscle growth and power. They do cold feet every day. Something about putting their feet on cold stone, cold water, those things. It's like, you've seen the movies when people like splash water in people's face. Yes. Something about the cold, they're like, oh, it's time to get up. It's kind of like falling back in the chair, kind of falling reflex. It's like it wakes the body up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the other thing I want to mention is I always know when solar noon is where I am. I have an alarm. I don't have an alarm. I check it on my watch. And so within 20 minutes of solar noon, I'm outside. And I just schedule that in as part of my day break. And I'm out there for 10 minutes. Some days recently it's been 20 minutes in the hot tub. Because I'm looking for ways to creatively get more sunlight in the wintertime. So I'm in the sunlight, eyes are closed at solar noon, sun's coming through my eyes, 20 minutes. That's my sacred time to get my reptile on, even in the middle of the winter.
Nice. I sometimes like to get some incense take it outside and burn it while I'm in the sun, or use some essential oils to inhale while I'm out there.
So good. Citrus, lemon.
Yeah, I like Citrus Bliss. It's a blend of orange, grapefruit, lemon, and then some other ones and vanilla. And then I'll combine it with peppermint. I like adding peppermint to a lot of them because it's very energizing and like activating. Mm-hmm.
I need to add a drop of that to Muka's Maya Mocha that I make every morning.
Yes,
Peppermint
you
is
do.
the thing. I'm missing that essential oil for some
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What do you guys want to start to land the jet for today?
What's that?
You guys
Let's
want to
take
start
it
to land
down.
the jet for our live show today?
I don't understand. We said to finish?
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple minutes left in the live show, so might be time to just kind of recap. We covered a lot today.
Yeah, let's recap what we
And
talked
so,
about. Go ahead.
Well, Dr. Jake, I'm just really grateful for your expertise and how these systems work together. Like every time we do these, I learn a ton. I think it especially triggering and fascinating that you only drink caffeine on Saturdays. I might need to do a round turn on my caffeine usage as a result of our dopamine.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Saturdays and Sundays. All right, 2 days. All right.
But I'm sending you my bulletproof coffee recipe, Dr. Jake. Then you might be able to have coffee and enjoy it and not feel wired or tired.
So I get to do a better job of actually using the dopamine cycle to fuel me forward. I'm going to put myself on report that I will start to make my bed in the morning as another way to have a task to complete. And there's nothing like at the end of the day, like I love myself enough that I made the bed. There's something about getting into the crisp covers that I need to, that's what I'm adding as a result. So the behavior change from what we talked about today, I think is the most interesting.
I was actually just going to ask, what is everyone going to do? And in the audience, what are you guys going to do one thing differently to regulate your dopamine? So for me, it's going to be the cold feet tub, like the cold tub, putting my feet in the cold tub. I haven't done that in a long time. And I'm also going to do the sun in the morning. I don't do it as regularly. Yeah. And one more thing, and really, and truly not using my phone like at least 30 minutes before bed, because it helps me sleep so much better when I do that. So being more consistent with that. Dr. Jake?
I on most days I play 1 or 2 songs on my flute before I go to work, get me in a groove. But what I'm going to be committing to is that long form content on the weekends, because it's a little too busy during the work week. But exploring cell membrane fluidity and also extracellular matrix signals to the interstitium, from the interstitium to the mitochondria. Long form content, and I get into my flow state when I'm doing the research, and I get so excited and the hours fly by. So that's my weekend dopamine.
I'm adding back into my morning routine reading. I was making content in the morning. I got to go back to my Jim Quick, the eye exercises to wake up the brain, and then at least 20 minutes of reading at an accelerated pace just turns my brain on in a really great way. So,
which eye exercises?
The figure 8, where I'm tracing the outline, so my word size is expanding. I'm in this vision instead of the focused, pointed vision. And I notice also, like when I watch TV at night, if I notice the windows in the periphery, I've given up my glass. I don't wear glasses or contact lenses anymore. I had a -3 and -2 and 3/4. And so my morning eye relaxation exercise is part of my sunlight. And I know when my eyes are focused, so is my brain. And I notice the mornings that I don't do the reading, I'm not as focused in terms of the long form attention span. So just 20 minutes in the morning, speed reading, look up Jim Quick, reading comprehension. That was probably the best $300 I've ever spent in my life. Learning how to read as an adult. I don't mean I was illiterate. I mean, I didn't know how to read at 1,000 words a minute, where it's like it actually presses the thinking speed. And it's like running downhill on a treadmill for the rest of my day. So the morning reading, long form. Thanks, Jake, for that.
So the figure 8 eye movements, is that when you're reading, before you start reading, or you just
Before
do
I
that?
start, and this is powerful too, if you want to get into a flow state, what this does, it starts to activate their corpus callosum so that the left brain, this is my right hand, starts to interact. So my right hand is now on my left hand. Now the right brain is activated. And so anytime I can go across the center medium of the body, like this is a really great position for super learning. I cross my feet right now. My hands are crossed and I'll do this. I'm expanding what I can see at the periphery, but I'm also doing cross-body things, which gets my whole mind activated at the same time.
Gotcha. Cool. How long would you do that for, the eye movements?
6 rounds, something like that. And I'll do the alternative nostril breathing too. That also.
Yeah. We should do that one next time.
Yeah, let's do the breathing and the sleep stuff next week. I know on my channel, if you're watching this, you're really interested in sleep. Those videos have gotten the most traction. I suffer from middle night insomnia for 20 years. So I've learned a lot about sleep.
That actually, there's a reason why so many of us wake up in the middle of the night. We can talk about that next week.
Yeah. Way to open loop the audience. And bring your questions, guys. We're doing this for you.
Tune in next week and you'll find out why you wake up in the middle of the night. And you'll also learn how to sleep better.
And save your dopamine. You know, like in the Back to the Future, save the clock tower. No, save the dopamine. That should be a t-shirt.
Don't be hacked unless you know what you're doing and you really want to be. Be careful with those cell phones.
Indeed. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.